The Mirror House. In the quiet town of Salem, Massachusetts, stood an old house known as the Mirror House. Locals claimed strange whispers and moving shadows came from it every night. In 2018, a young couple, Emily Carter and Jake Wilson, rented the house because it was surprisingly cheap. The owner warned them seriously, "Never look into the big mirror after midnight." Emily and Jake laughed, thinking it was just another Salem ghost story. A week later, Jake woke up at 3:04 a.m. to a soft whisper coming from the living room. When he walked in, he saw Emily standing completely still in front of the tall mirror. Her eyes were open, but her face was blank, almost like she was sleepwalking. Jake whispered her name, but she didn't react. Instead, Emily's reflection slowly turned its head toward him. The reflection smiled wide and whispered, "Now I'm free." Emily's real face did not move at all. The mirror cracked like ice, and Emily collapsed to the floor, unconscious. The next morning, Jake called the police. But when officers arrived, the mirror was gone, replaced by a plain solid wall, as if it never existed. Emily never woke up again. Jake moved out the same day. Locals say if you pass the house at 3 a.m., you can still see Emily's reflection smiling from the upstairs window, even though no one lives there. Moral: never ignore local warnings. Some stories are passed down because something terrifying once happened there. Urban legend. In the quiet town of Dover, Ohio, teenagers love testing scary urban legends. The most feared legend was Kuna, a shapeless creature that copies human movement. Locals warned that if you stare at its face for too long, you lose your mind. One night, 4 friends Liam, Sarah, Noah, and Grace decided to find out if it was real. They drove to an abandoned cornfield where sightings had been reported for years. At 3 a.m., the air suddenly turned freezing and the wind stopped completely. Noah laughed and waved his arms. "Hey, Kuna, copy me," he shouted. From the darkness, a tall, bending figure appeared, moving exactly like Noah. Liam whispered, "Don't look at its face, whatever you do." But Sarah turned her head. Her scream echoed as she started copying the creature's twisted movements. The others ran toward the car, but when they looked back, Sarah was gone. Only her phone lay in the dirt, still recording. The video ended with her whispering, "It's smiling." Police searched the field but found no footprints, no signs of struggle, nothing. Locals say if you play Sarah's video at 3 a.m., you can see Kuna standing behind your reflection, moving the same way you do. Moral of the story: curiosity can be deadly. Some legends are dangerous because they're real. Doppelganger. The Mirror Self. In Asheville, North Carolina, college student Maya Thompson lived alone in a small apartment near campus. Maya was quiet, responsible, and often stayed awake until 3 a.m. studying. One night, during a video call, her best friend suddenly whispered, "Maya, who is standing behind you?" Maya turned fast. The room was empty. She blamed it on lag and ended the call. Over the next few days, strange reports began. Her classmates said they saw Maya walking down the hallway when she was proven to be in another building at the same time. A professor insisted she watched Maya leave class early, even though Maya stayed till the end. Maya started feeling watched, especially near mirrors. At 3 a.m., a slow knock echoed through her apartment door. When she looked through the peephole, she saw herself outside, same hair, same hoodie, same expression. The copy smiled and whispered, "You're in my place now. Let me in." Maya hid under her bed, shaking. Minutes later, her front door creaked open by itself. Footsteps walked slowly across the floor, then silence. The next morning, neighbors said they saw Maya leaving the building with a blank, lifeless stare, but Maya's real phone, bag, and keys were still inside. To this day, people claim that at night, 2 identical Mayas appear in the apartment window, one smiling, one terrified. Moral of the story: not every version of you is harmless. Some shadows want your life more than you do. Ghost Sister, The Last Promise. In Portland, Oregon, one 2-year-old Lila Carter lived with her parents and her older sister Hannah, who was her best friend. The sisters were always together, playing games, sharing secrets, and making forever promises. One rainy evening, Hannah walked home alone after school. Lila had stayed for art class. That night, police arrived at their door. Hannah had been hit by a car and she didn't survive. Lila blamed herself every day. She believed Hannah died because she wasn't there. A few weeks later, at exactly 3 a.m., Lila heard soft tapping on her bedroom window. 3 gentle knocks, always the same rhythm. One night, shaking, Lila whispered, "Hannah, is that you?" A quiet voice replied, soft and familiar. "Don't cry, Lila. I kept my promise. I'll never leave you." When her parents rushed into the room, the air was freezing cold. Lila was smiling at the empty space beside her. The next morning, a small handprint appeared on the frosted glass. It matched Hannah's old fingerprints from a craft project. The knocks continued every night. Lila spoke to Hannah as if she was still alive. As Lila grew older, the visits became quieter until one night everything stopped. Years later, a new family moved into the house. Their young daughter told her mother she had a nice ghost sister who played with her at night. She said the ghost always knocked 3 times on the window before bedtime, so I know she's here. Ghostfish, the lake that whispers. In Clearwater, Michigan, there was an old lake called Silver Pine Lake, known for strange glowing blue lights at night. Locals warned everyone, never fish there after midnight, no matter what. They said the lake held something ancient, a ghost fish that appeared only at 3 a.m. One summer night, a young fisherman named Evan Miller ignored those warnings. Evan wanted to catch the legendary ghost fish because people said it granted a single wish. At 2:59 a.m., the lake went silent. Not even the frogs made a sound. As the clock hit 3 a.m., Evan's fishing line jerked hard, almost pulling him out of the boat. He reeled in fast, thinking he had caught the biggest fish of his life. When the creature surfaced, it looked like no fish he had ever seen. Glass-like skin, blue glowing body, and black empty eyes. Evan whispered, "You're beautiful," and leaned closer to the edge of his boat. The fish opened its mouth, and a soft whisper came out, "Come with me." Suddenly, 2 watery hands rose from the lake, grabbed Evan's wrists, and yanked him under. His scream echoed across the lake, but no one was there to hear it. The next morning, his boat floated quietly near the shore, his fishing rod still standing, the line cut clean. To this day, fishermen report seeing a blue glow in the middle of Silver Pine Lake every year on the same night, and a faint shadow under the water that looks like Evan reaching up for help. The Crawl Space Clown, hidden under the floor. In a quiet suburb of Bloomington, Indiana, the Reed family moved into an old 2-story house. The landlord warned them, never open the crawl space under the stairs. They assumed it was just unsafe storage and ignored it. Their 9-year-old son, Ethan, started hearing soft laughter late at night. Every night around 3 a.m., he heard giggles and a rubbery squeak like someone twisting balloons. His parents didn't believe him, thinking it was just a dream. One night, Ethan placed his favorite toy car in front of the crawl space door before sleeping. The next morning, the toy car was gone. Days later, while cleaning, Ethan's mom noticed a small paper note pushed from under the crawl space. The note read, "I like your toys, Ethan." Thinking someone was hiding inside, she opened the door slightly and saw a dusty red clown shoe quickly pull back into the darkness. Terrified, the family called the police. Officers opened the crawl space fully. Inside, they found an old clown costume, deflated balloons, and tiny animal bones buried beneath the wooden floor. Records showed a traveling clown had disappeared years ago after performing at a local fair and was never found. That night, long after the police left, the crawl space door creaked open by itself, and the hallway filled with faint, squeaky laughter. Moral of the story: some doors stay closed for a reason. Opening them can bring back things that should never return. Coraline, the cold coastal town of Bergen, Norway, lived a quiet 4-year-old girl named Coraline Nilsson. To outsiders, her family seemed perfect, a hard-working father and a sick mother who rarely left her bed. But behind closed doors, Coraline lived in fear. Her father controlled every word she spoke and punished her for even small mistakes. Whenever she questioned him, he locked her in the dark basement, calling it discipline. Coraline spent hours alone in silence, shivering, listening to the stormy sea outside the tiny window. One winter night, while trapped again, she noticed a thin crack in the basement wall. When she pressed against it, part of the wall crumbled, revealing a narrow storage tunnel filled with dust and old tools. Desperate for freedom, Coraline crawled through the tight, freezing passageway. The tunnel led to the basement of an abandoned house next door, untouched for years. Coraline hid there for 3 days, surviving on melting snow and sheer willpower. On the third night, a neighbor walking her dog heard faint cries and called the police. Officers broke into the abandoned house and found Coraline weak, bruised, and terrified, but still alive. Her father was arrested that same night, and Coraline was placed with a warm, gentle foster family who gave her trauma into purpose and became a counselor for abused children, promising she would always help others find their voice. Moral: even in the darkest places, courage can lead to freedom. Survival begins with hope. The mystery of the bloop, nature's deep secret. In 1997, scientists at the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, were monitoring sounds deep in the Pacific Ocean. Suddenly, their underwater microphones picked up a strange, loud, rumbling noise, unlike anything recorded before. They called it the bloop. The sound was so powerful that microphones thousands of miles apart detected it at the same time. People around the world were shocked and curious. Some said it was a giant sea monster, others claimed it came from a sunken city or even an alien base. The sound seemed to come from near Antarctica, a place almost no humans visit. Every year, scientists recorded small echoes of the bloop, deepening the mystery. Documentaries, books, and online videos speculated endlessly about its source. Many sailors refused to travel near the icy waters, afraid of the bloop. For over a decade, no one knew the truth. It remained one of the ocean's greatest unsolved mysteries. Finally, in 2012, NOAA scientists discovered the source: massive icebergs cracking and breaking under ocean pressure. The loud rumbling was the sound of ice splitting and colliding deep underwater. The terrifying mystery was solved. It was nature itself, not a monster. Yet some people still insist the bloop felt alive, leaving a sense of awe and fear of the ocean's power. Moral: not every mystery hides a monster. Sometimes it is nature reminding us how small we really are. How did dinosaurs really go extinct? 66 million years ago, Earth was a paradise for giant creatures. Tyrannosaurs, brachiosaurs, and velociraptors roamed the land, ruling forests and plains. Early mammals and small birds lived in the shadows, unnoticed by the giants. One calm morning, in the area now called the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, the sky suddenly burned brighter than 1,000 suns. A massive asteroid, nearly 6 miles wide, entered the Earth's atmosphere at unimaginable speed. The impact created the Chicxulub crater, releasing heat hotter than fire and generating waves taller than mountains. Forests ignited instantly, oceans churned violently, and massive earthquakes shook the planet. Dust and ash covered the skies, blocking sunlight for months. Without sunlight, plants withered, collapsing food chains everywhere. Dinosaurs tried to survive, but the extreme heat, cold nights, and lack of food proved deadly. Only small, adaptable creatures like early mammals and birds managed to endure the harsh conditions. These survivors slowly evolved over millions of years into modern animals and eventually humans. Volcanoes and climate changes added to the disaster, making survival almost impossible for the giants. The age of dinosaurs ended, leaving Earth silent except for the small, cunning survivors. From destruction came life's new chapter: the rise of mammals, birds, and eventually us. Venom 3. The new symbiote villains arrive. In San Francisco, Eddie Brock lived with Venom, the alien symbiote bonded to him. Life seemed normal until scientists at the Life Foundation uncovered a new threat. They had discovered Kuna, the god of all symbiotes, and his army of deadly creatures. At first, strange disappearances began in the city. People reported shadows moving unnaturally. Then, new symbiote villains appeared: Phage, Lasher, Agony, and Toxin, each bonded to a human host. Phage was fast and violent, attacking anyone near him. Lasher could stretch its tendrils like whips, destroying cars and streetlights. Agony was small but deadly, moving silently and striking from the shadows. Toxin, though not fully evil, caused chaos because its host lost control of the symbiote's power. Venom and Eddie tried to fight them, but the villains were stronger in groups. One night, at 3 a.m., a massive creature from Kuna's army emerged, a horrifying hybrid symbiote with multiple heads. The city trembled as the monster rampaged, destroying buildings and streets. Eddie realized the only way to survive was to bond with Venom fully and face Kuna's army together. After a terrifying battle, some symbiote villains were defeated, but Kuna's shadow still loomed over the city. Locals say that if you walk the streets at night, you might see glowing black tendrils in the alleyways and hear soft whispers, "We are still coming."